Hey folks, welcome back. It's the Big Barn Build. Today it's an exciting time because we get to start our new mini-series all about MVHR, and I'm going to tell you today why there are 7 reasons we would definitely not build without it now, and we'll leave the most important one and the best one till last. So let's go and take a look. Okay, so MVHR. First up, what does it stand for? Well, it's mechanical ventilation with heat recovery. So it's basically ventilation, fans, extraction, supply, all around your house. And that can be done in a few different ways. It can be done on a room by room basis. It can be done with single units on the wall. But in our case, we've gone for a full system because we're at the perfect point, if in actual fact, maybe a little bit too late along the design stage, but we've got a perfect opportunity now to get all the duct runs into our building. So we're going to explain today some of the reasons why it just makes sense, and especially if you're building a house or doing a really big retrofit, it doesn't really make sense not to put it in. So I'm going to go through those now, and hopefully by the end of this we'll all be ready to start installing some ductwork. First up, it should be pretty much an invisible element of the building. So it's really just like the lungs of the house, I guess. It's just allowing it all to breathe without you having to think it's there. So you can imagine a really old building or traditional building, you'd have leaky floorboards and draft under the front door and windows that didn't seal. And that kind of led to a healthy home because you've always got fresh air coming and going. But what that leads to is a lot of hot air getting out. And when hot air costs a lot of money, it makes sense to look after it. So the first thing is, whatever the weather outside, whether it's really windy, whether it's still hot, cold, we're always going to have a set amount of constant ventilation in our house, which means that we don't have to rely on the breeze and the wind coming through trickle vents and blowing under doors and things like that to bring us fresh air. So we don't have to worry about that. We've got a set amount of balanced fresh air throughout the house. Number 2, heat. It's going to recover about 90% of the heat in the house. So yes, it's going to be pulling some of our warm air out of our rooms, but it's going to put that into our fresh air coming in, and by the heat exchanger in the unit, bring that back as kind of pre-warmed air coming into the house, which means all that effort that goes into keeping a house warm, whether that's spending hours splitting logs, keeping a log burner going, or fancy air source heat pumps, ground source heat pumps, oil, gas boilers, whatever it is, the work and the effort and the finance you put into getting your house warm, we're not going to lose loads of that just by the house having to be leaky. And remember, we do need ventilation. You can't just build a sealed box because yes, it might hold the heat, but you're all going to kind of snuff it like a canary. So we want fresh air, and we want it to be filtered, and we want it to be in control. Right, number 3, optimal ventilation. We know we've got fresh air getting to all these rooms, but why is that important? Well, however you build, it's very difficult to avoid things like VOCs. You could go for the lowest VOC paint, and you could use natural wood flooring or whatever it might be, but you're still going to have items in the building which, you know, they can give off things that we don't really want to be breathing. So by having a good ventilation, that means that those are being pulled out of the building, and then you've got fresh filtered air coming back in. So especially at the early stages of a build, when there's lots of new fabric and things coming in, we do want to be, I guess, mindful of what the environment's like inside the building. So as well as the VOCs, we've got CO2, and you know, we can't stop breathing. So there's always CO2 in the building, and as many houseplants as we've got, we're not going to suck all that out. So we do want ventilation to control that. We haven't gone with any sort of CO2 monitoring for our to ramp up ventilation, because hopefully once it's all balanced, that should just be an even exchange of air within the house. But that's something you could do. And in the cabin, for example, where we've gone for a relatively airtight build, we've got CO2 monitors, and it's quite interesting how the areas around the MVHR has a much more stable CO2 than elsewhere. All right, next up, bathrooms, kitchens. One day we're actually going to have them, they're going to be working, and they all produce moisture, as do we as human beings, and dogs, and laundry and things like that. And the last thing we want to do when we're going for a high performance building or a retrofit where you're trying to just make it a bit more draft proof, you're not going to have that constant air exchange, and therefore humidity levels can ramp up. Why is that a problem? Well, we kind of, as a nice environment to live in, we want it to be, I guess, 50-60%, something like that. And it's quite easy for that to ramp right up. And the problem there is you end up with condensation on windows, mirrors, And even worse, you can end up with cold spots in your wall picking up on condensation, and that is interstitial condensation. That is somewhere you can't even see it. That's what leads to mold and mushrooms and stuff we definitely don't want. So by having a constant air supply, MVHR is going to remove all that moisture, but this is air that's hot and damp. We want to get rid of the moisture out of the air, but we don't want to lose all that heat. So we're taking steamy shower air out, and we're taking the heat out of it, getting rid of the moisture, and then exchanging that heat into our fresh air coming back in. And hey presto, we've got an even, sensible humidity throughout the house. Now the fifth reason why we definitely wouldn't build without MVHR is the air coming in is also going to be filtered. So whether you're living in a built-up environment, you could have dust, pollen, you could have smells. There are special filters available. So when 21 Degrees were designing our system and knew we were on a farm, they said, do you want carbon filters? That's a way of reducing odor on the incoming smell. So there's lots of ways that you can control that incoming air and not have to worry about that. Might be people in the house with asthma or hay fever or anything like that. And you can, a bit like a pollen filter on a car, you can control the environment that way as well. Now the sixth reason is quietness. Some people worry about the impact of having ventilation in your house, but the reason why you might have issues is if it's not designed correctly. But remember, if you don't have ventilation, you're going to have trickle vents and gaps somewhere else in your wall, which do let noise through. So by having the MVHR, we can have really high performing acoustic glass and frames and seal all the noise out that way if we want to. Now we've also got silencers, and they are both in the plant room to kind of cut down the actual original part of the noise from the fans, but also in between rooms. So at the end of every run, we've got a silencer, which means you can't listen to the person in the room next to you, because of course everything's linked on a big system, that there is a chance that it could go up, down, along and round into the next bedroom. And we don't want that. So we've got silencers on supply and extract, varying lengths, and we'll show that in the next episode when we're starting to install this stuff. But that's really important. So it's the way it's designed, and also with this big rigid system, it should be a really silent setup. Right, so that leaves us with number 7. What is probably the most important reason why we wouldn't build without MVHR? And it's down to air tightness. We can't build as airtight as we have without having the MVHR. And we've had people comment in previous videos about, you can't possibly have a building that airtight, you'll suffocate and drown in your own moisture and VOCs and stuff like that. The truth is, we couldn't. You know, if you made it an airtight box, then yes, you'd have moisture on the walls, you'd have condensation, you'd have a horrible environment to live in. But because we've got MVHR, it means we could not have to worry about that, and we could go as airtight as humanly possible. And for us, that was our 0.27 air changes, which we might even improve on once we get to our next stage. However, that means that this building is now so efficient that even without stupid amounts of insulation, we've now got to a point where it requires very little heating. So really, the efficiency is just as much down to the air tightness of the building as it is to the insulation and the heating system and things like that. So my biggest takeaway from the whole thing is start early. You know, when we spoke to 21 Degrees the first time, they said, okay, when are you starting the build? And I was like, well, we've already built and we've already got the room. So it made things a little bit harder to work around. In an ideal world, you actually put your joists in at the same time as your first fix ducting if it's big ducts. We've gone for all rigid. There's no flexible sort of semi-rigid ducting here, which is the best way from everything I've heard. It's slightly more expensive to go that route, but it gives a much better design system. The reason why you want to start early is because you can't go through a steel with it. You can't go threading it through ductwork and through stud work and things like that. So you do have to think in straight lines a little bit. We have various angles and couplers and offsets that we've had to use. So we've just about got away with it. But the earlier the better with any of the design stuff. So it's not an add-on. You can't build all the way to 90% and think, oh, I'm going to put this in like a kitchen appliance or something like that. It is definitely something that starts right at the beginning. Get it sorted, get it dialed in, because that is going to be just as important to the performance of the house as the insulation you're putting under your slab. So you kind of need to think right at the beginning, how you're going to do it, where you're going to do it, and also the plant room. It needs to be in an optimum place where you can have supply and extract to the outside world, but also a place where you can spread out from that and branch out with all your ductwork. So that's what we learned. So we were a little bit late to the game, but we've got away with it and we've got a really good system that's going in now. That's not to say it can't be retrofitted. I know lots of people who have done it. And yes, you might have to use some of the semi-rigid ducting in that case, but there's always a way to get it in. It just takes a little bit more thought and planning if you're doing a renovation, like a retrofit, just because you've obviously got walls and things in place that you can't move around. So sooner the better is the takeaway, really. So the eagle-eyed amongst you might have spotted a bit of ductwork in the background. We have made a start. First fix is kind of progressing. We're jumping in and out between outdoor jobs and indoor jobs because of the weather. And it's quite fun. It's a bit like a Lego set. You get all the instructions, every code and number of every part. We laid it all out. So the kids have been involved. They've been getting an elbow, or you shout down and you need a whatever it is, and they come up with the 90-degree elbow and then they get the wrong one. And anyway, so that's going in and we're strapping it all up in place. It won't be long before we can get someone who knows a lot more than us to come and help with the commissioning and, well, more of the first fix actually in our plant room. Unfortunately, because of the size of the house, we've got 2 houses worth of kit in here. So we've got 2 units, which is a bit of a headache because it's a bit of spaghetti in there. But they've done a really good job of designing it so one does most of the upstairs, one does downstairs, and they're quite well split. Therefore, we've got someone local to us who 21 Degrees work with. They're going to come out, spend a day sorting that side of things out, and then it won't be long before we can hide all this away and not have to worry about it, but we will know it's there because we need it and it's going to perform really well, we hope. So there we go. Hopefully that was a good insight into MVHR, why we definitely need it in our build, why it might be something that you need to think about in yours, and well, on to the next video when we'll do lots more cutting, fitting, strapping and getting all this first fix in. If you've got any questions, let us know down in the comments and we'll try and answer those. But apart from that, thanks for watching. Remember, if you can, do it yourself and we'll see you next time.